I show that it is 6:15 on Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. I call to order the Finance and Personnel Committee. And the roll call. Myself, Leanne Stokes, Alder Knott,
Present.
Alder McAllister.
Present.
Item number 2, consideration and action on minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Second.
The motion to approve by Alder McAllister, the second by Alder Knott. All those in favor?
Aye.
Item number 3, public input. Anyone who would like to speak to the council, please come forward and state your name and address. And you have a limit of 3 minutes. This is number 1. The second call. Third and final call. I will now close that item. Consideration and possible action on the following items. Item number 4, 2023 general fund financials. Sabrina?
Thank you, Chair. In your packets tonight, starting on page 1 is the general fund financials. The first part of the packet, pages 1 through 3, is the balance sheet for the general fund. Going on to page 4 is our budget report. This is going from 1/1/2023 through April 30th of 2023. If I can draw your attention to page 6, looking at our revenue total, we have 22% remaining for revenues through April 30th of 2023. Kind of comparing us back to 2022, we were sitting at 21% remaining, so we're pretty close to being on track to that. If I draw your attention to page, I believe it's page 18. If you take a look at our expense total, again, the percent remaining as of April 30th of 2023, we are at 70.08%. As of April 30th of 2022, we were at 69%. So kind of right in line with 2022. Everything so far is, there's nothing that's concerning to me at this point. But I will take any questions that you have.
Is there a motion?
No, I have a quick question. It is reference 52,200, page 12, on the fire department. Very bottom 2 lines, 382 and 394. I see that the uniforms, safety attire, and EMS supplies are basically spent out. Is that by plan? Do you just buy them in advance, or should we be looking at somehow covering for more in the near future?
It's probably actually a combination of both. I know we've stocked up on T-shirts and things of that nature, which is probably the primary uniform, if you will. So I know we've stocked above what we need for that, especially anticipating the needs for new employees, new part-time firefighters. But in addition, there's probably need to readdress that line item in the budget for the future.
All right, yeah, because obviously, especially when you get to safety attire and supplies for EMS, those would be must funds, yeah. And
I'm sorry, Amanda?
Just as a point of order, we really should have a motion on the floor before we start asking questions.
okay, I move to, I guess, approve and file the 2023 general fund financials.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Other than what I just brought up now.
Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion has passed. And item number 5, 2023 Omni Center financials, Sabrina?
All right, thank you. Also in your packets tonight is the Omni Center financials. That's starting on page 19. Pages 19 through 21 is the balance sheet for the Omni Center. Then behind that is the budget report. Again, this is going through April 30th of 2023. Our revenue total is at 45.62%. Looking at April 30th of 2022, we were at 49.2%, so slightly lower. Nothing too concerning in my mind at this point in time in regards to revenues. Then if you take a look at page 24, that will give you our expense total of like the percentage remaining year to date with budget. We do have 58.86% remaining, and as of April 30th of 2022, we were at 62%. So fairly close in regards to percentages. I know this year we had a little bigger cabin fever event, so that increases expenses a little bit. But again, no concerns on my end at this point.
I'll move to approve and file the 2023 Omni Center financials.
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion was made to approve by Alder Knott, seconded by Alder McAllister. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That motion has passed. Item number 6, investment policy changes. Sabrina.
All right, thank you. So in your packets tonight, starting on page 6 is a memo from myself, kind of just outlining why I'm bringing forward the investment policy. In April of this year, the Common Council did approve for us to partner with Dana Investments as our new investment management partner. We have since transferred the dollars to Dana Investments. There are some recommendations from Dana Investments to update our policy. So our policy, I think in the past, we had taken a similar size municipality and used kind of that as our starting point when we created our policy. So when these changes were suggested to myself from Dana Investments, I did reach out to some local municipalities, the city of La Crosse, the village of Holman, village of West Salem. I also reached out to the city of Eau Claire, the city of Rochester, and there was one more, I can't remember the other one, but there was one more, and I reviewed their investment policies and kind of compared them to what we have. And then kind of took into consideration the recommendations that came from Dana Investments. So if you take a look at the investment policy that's in front of you, that starts on page 26. If you take a look at page 28, due to state statutes, we have to follow the state statutes on what we invest in. The city of Onalaska has always even further limited it to CDs, government agency securities, treasury bonds, the state of Wisconsin LGIP, and then prohibited investments. So what I am recommending, along with Dana Investments, who is also online if you have any further questions, is that we add United States agencies, securities, and federal instrumentalities. But then based on that, either further limiting that to any of those securities that would have a rating at the highest or second highest rating before we would invest in them. So that kind of helps diminish the risk that we have with those types of securities. So that's one of the changes. And then the other changes on page 30, we're adding some verbiage regarding the maximum length to maturity. Instead of saying 5 years, we're saying, and instead of that, we would use an adjusting or floating rate to that 5 years. So essentially what that does is there may be a security that may be 2 years that we invest in, and it may be really beneficial for us to invest in one that's maybe 6 years. So then that helps that weighted average, floating average to get to 5. So it would be there, but then we're not missing out on a security that may be really beneficial for our portfolio, that would be at a little higher maturity. So that's kind of what they're suggesting. I do agree with their recommendations, and they are online if you have questions.
I'd like to make a motion, excuse me, we need a motion to approve before we start discussion.
I'll move to approve the investment policy with changes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? I do have a question of Matt.
Yep.
He's online.
Yep.
I guess my question would be, why do you think that having weighted averages when we haven't had them in the past is a good thing to do? I'd just like to get his opinion on that.
Sure. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yes.
So the reason that we would look at that is because you're really looking at a different risk measure then. So the way it's stated to have just a 5-year final maturity, you're looking at the final maturity date of a security. If you have a floating reset security, for example, as Sabrina said, you might have one that's 6 years, it might be 7 years, but it might reset monthly. So it actually has less risk than a bond that has a 5-year maturity on it. But based on the language in the policy, currently you wouldn't be able to own it because that final maturity might be longer. So really what we're trying to do is get to a little bit broader universe of securities that are allowable while actually reducing the overall potential risk in the portfolio.
Okay, and then I think there was just one other quick question. I think that, was this only to do with the advisory versus the CD rates? There was something in an email that was sent out. Or is this going to be this 5-year? I mean, are our CDs still going to be at 5 years, or is it?
The way I understand it is, we likely won't invest in CDs through Dana Investments. Likely it'll be agency bonds, agency securities, things of that nature. But if the city were to decide to invest in a CD, we would still be limited to the 5 years.
Okay, all right. Any other discussion?
My question was after you looked at similar cities in the state of Wisconsin, are we kind of on par with that change?
Yeah, we definitely needed a little bit of updating in regards to change. A lot of them had the same kind of bones of our policy, were very similar. But then again, some of them just said state statutes. We just follow the state statutes and they didn't further limit. I'm confident in us further limiting that, and I think it's a good thing to have in place. Other municipalities of our size did have the agency securities and instrumentalities, and even had even more than what we had. So we're limiting even more than what some others are doing.
Aldernaut?
And it's more of a comment. Really pleased to see the addition of subparagraph 3 to paragraph 5.6, suitable and authorized investments. I know when we first met to discuss this, I brought up, wanted to make sure that we weren't going down the path of ideologically driven investing. And I think that this puts on a huge constraint on that and guarantees that our portfolio is going to align with the most historically lucrative options and avoid the risk of any kind of ideologically driven investing. So I really applaud you putting that in there. Thank you.
Just one further comment. I've talked to Sabrina quite a bit on this, and I would like to applaud her for all of the work that she's done in the research before we came to the meeting tonight. She was, and also bringing Dana Investments into it. I think that gives us a much better feel for what we're going to do.
Cool.
Any further discussion? Sabrina.
I was just going to add, one thing that I have discussed, with Leanne, and our partners at Dana Investments. We do have what's called a positive confirmation on all of our investing. So what that means is they have to send to myself or whomever the finance director is. I won't be here forever, probably. Well, I have to try to get to 40 years is what I'm told. But they have to send to the city of Onalaska before they make any trades, and we have to approve them. So I will constantly be researching, and if there's something that doesn't make sense to me, Matt and his team have been really helpful in answering questions and things of that nature. So.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has passed.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Absolutely.
Okay, item number 7, approval of fancier and animal license fees. Amanda, did you want to take that one?
Yes. So sorry. So we had approved the fancier permit license, but we did not set the fee for it. And so when we were looking at what we would propose to have for that fee, we thought it made sense to sort of keep all of these similar types of fees in line. And so we actually are proposing kind of multiple changes. So we'd like to set the fancier fee at $75. We'd like to increase the keeping of bee license to $75, and then chickens was already at $75. So in their first year, first time application, all would be $75. That is the year the city puts the most effort in. You know, we review the application in detail. We may send notices to various homeowners. Sometimes there's an inspection. And then dropping the renewal cost down. So previously chickens was actually $40. Bees was $20. We're proposing to drop them all down to $15 a year.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
I'll move to approve the fancier and animal license fees.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion?
I think keeping it simple makes sense. So,
Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The motion has passed. Item number 8, approval of the mural permitting fees. Katie?
Thank you. As with animal licensing, we are reviewing the associated permit fees that are included with a mural application. Currently, the fee that we're looking to propose is a $50 fee, which allows for time by the mural review committee to ensure compliance with our ordinance. We did include a special exception process into the mural ordinance to allow mural placement size, et cetera, on a case-by-case basis if deemed necessary by staff. Staff are proposing that if an entity requests to install a mural on the primary facade of the structure, which is where their primary customer entrance is, and it is specifically defined in our code that they would apply for a special exception application, but there would be no fee as they have to comply with all other aspects of the mural ordinance. If an entity requests to deviate from the mural ordinance in another way by how they want to install it, the media that they're choosing to use, or the size of the mural, and or install on the primary facade, they would also need a special exception, but we would have a review fee of $100. This fee is consistent with other zoning application fees that requires board consideration. Thank you.
I'll move to approve the mural permitting fees.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion on this? Alder Wolf.
Thank you, Chair. So I do have a follow-up question for Katie. So could have passed her a note, but I thought, can't do that. So just want to confirm. So there's a permit, the mural permit fee of 50 and the special exception for the street facade, no fee. So if they're going to have a mural that's going to be at the street facade location only, do they have to apply for the initial mural fee? That's all I needed. Thank you. Just want to double check.
Yes.
Yes. She nodded and said yes. Thank you.
Any,
We'll have to apply for that initial mural permit.
Okay.
It's just whether or not they have to pay for the special exception.
okay, great. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the approval of the mural permitting fees, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that passes. And that ends the finance section. On to personnel. Item number 9. The recruitment update of the Human Resource Director by the Human Resource Director, Amy.
Good evening. Yes, the memo before you, we are progressing with recruitment. We filled 3 regular positions in the month of May, and those are listed there for you. The event specialist at the Omni Center, our IT director, and our law enforcement record specialist in the police department. We are on target to fill additional positions. We've already filled and confirmed offers for positions in the month of June. We're in the process of scheduling interviews for our fire chief vacancy and making progress in all of those positions as well.
Okay, thank you. And that's just an update, so we don't need a motion. The item number 10, policy update, policy 8.02, confined spaces. Amy?
Yeah, so this has been a policy initiated by our HR generalist, Alexis Wozni, and been in the works for many months. As you can see, this policy was very outdated, almost 20 years since it's been updated. I did provide a clean copy in your packet as well as the marked copy. There's a lot of changes. It looks like a lot of changes with the marked versions, but it was really just updating into our format that we currently utilize for our policies. And so really what this is doing, we relied heavily on our safety consultant through our insurance company who guided us through this process. We worked very closely with our fire chief and our public work directors as well, since they are also very involved in this policy. And it was also approved by our safety committee when they met at their last annual or quarterly meeting as well.
I'll move to approve the policy update for policy 8.02 confined space.
And I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Alder.
I'm sure that there was a full review done to make sure we were in full compliance of state, federal, including OSHA requirements for this, right?
Correct. We do fall under the safety, the Department of Safety and, oh gosh, professional services. Thank you. But also with that do follow along with a lot of OSHA standards with that. And so those are noted throughout the policy as well. And again, making sure that we are compliant with everything that we need to be compliant with. I know our city attorney, interim city administrator has also reviewed this policy. So I do feel confident that we are on par to stay current.
Okay. It's not something I'd feel comfortable trying to make changes to. There's a lot of unintended consequences that come with that. So, yeah.
Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes. Item number 11, adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Great. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we are adjourned at 6:40 PM. Thank you.